And I had some notes, but I'm just going to ignore them. My name's Lesh, and kind of to tell you a little bit about my background. I had a pretty good childhood, but when I was a kid, I did face some bullying, and I felt like that for me, food was a coping mechanism for that. We talked about eating for pleasure, eating when I was sad, eating when I was angry, eating when I was happy, eating all those different times. And for example, for me, a lot of people talk about going off to college, gaining the freshman 15. I gained the freshman 50, and always trying to lose weight. Even in high school, trying to lose weight. In unhealthy ways. Crash dieting. For lunch, I took 2 apples, and I ate 2 apples for lunch, and that was my lunch every day for a while. And of course, I lost weight, but not in a healthy way. As I grew older, I realized that diet plus exercise was where it was at. I read fitness magazines, I did research online, and I did have some success, going to the gym, but it never stuck. And I got to the point where I was even heavier than this picture at 290 pounds. And I was just dissatisfied with my life. I felt like I was meant, for more than what I was doing. I felt like I had a destiny, but I didn't really know what that was. And I felt stuck. When you're unhealthy like that, it permeates all areas of your life. And there were a lot of things that I was struggling with, and I felt hopeless. And kind of fast forward, my wife and I, we've got 3 kids, and last year she was pregnant with our 3rd son. And kind of as the way that our life goes, weight loss season came around, and I knew I needed to do something. That was one of the things, for me, I never really got to the point where I said, this is just the way I am. I always knew that that it was possible for me to lose weight and to regain my health, but it just always seemed elusive. But she was pregnant with our 3rd son, and I looked into P90X. I'd actually heard of that, and didn't know much about it. Didn't know that there was such a thing as a coach. Didn't know even what Beachbody was. Didn't know that P90X was Beachbody or anything like that. But I looked into P90X, and I was scared off by the X. I knew, at being almost 300 pounds, that was probably too much for me. So I actually found Power 90 because I found that was the precursor to P90X. And so I bought Power 90 on Amazon, and I know that that's Amazon. But I bought it on Amazon and signed up with a free account on the Beachbody forums. And so I was a lead for my coach, who's Emerald at the time. And he plugged me into his challenge group. I actually didn't even have a Facebook account. He got me to sign up for Facebook, and I was completely anti-Facebook, as my wife would say. But I created one just for the challenge group. And my weight loss story was a bumpy ride, and I think anyone will tell you that when you're 35 years old and almost 300 pounds, you can't work out the same way as you did when you were 25 years old. And so I went at Power 90 with the same kind of intensity that I would have applied in my 20s. And I dealt with several injuries because of that. I injured my left shoulder, I had tennis elbow in both arms, injured my left wrist, pulled my groin, hurt my MCL, my right calf, my Achilles, I had lower back pain, I had all these different injuries. And there was a point where all I could do, I had actually purchased P90X at the time, all I could do was stretch and yoga. That was it. That was all I could do. And as you can imagine, you have this program, you have this schedule, and you're supposed to be following it to get the extreme results. And I couldn't do any of it. And I had to come to a point where I realized that if I was making, taking it one day at a time, and if I was just doing something, following the nutrition plan, that I was doing it. I had to come to the point where I realized that. It didn't matter if I did it perfectly, but that I just endeavored to do it. And so I did, and I kept going. And through 2 rounds of Power 90, plus P90X, through Beachbody programs, I've lost 100 pounds, from where I was. And actually was a daily challenge winner for Power 90, so $500. So P90 is really special to me, just because that's the way I got started, and so I'm really looking forward to the people that I can help through that. I think it's going to be an amazing program for people to get started. I signed up as a coach, actually as a discount coach, to get Shakeology for my wife. She wanted something to safe to drink while she was nursing our third child. And then, of course, as it goes, later I decided, hey, I got a pretty good transformation. I might want to do something with this. And so my wife and I are now both enrolled coaches, and just completely excited about what Beachbody has, and just the amazing people that we've met through this, and just talking about plugging me into a positive atmosphere, and just the difference that's made just in every area of our lives. Just has given us courage and just an outlet and a purpose. And I just want to share one last thing about as far as live events and just the importance of them. For this summit this last year, my flight actually got canceled, and so it was a Wednesday night. I was flying Wednesday night, coming in Thursday morning in the middle of the night, and the flight had gotten canceled. So here we are. It's 3 o'clock in the morning at Intercontinental, and summit's starting the next day. Well, all the flights were really expensive, of course, last minute, on other airlines, and they wouldn't have gotten us there in time. And so what I ended up doing was meeting up with another coach in the airport, and we drove to Vegas. So we got in the truck, walked out of the airport, got in the truck, and drove to Vegas. And we drove straight through the night, 22 hours, and we made it there. And so, I think that for me, this year's theme of never giving up, really has been my story just throughout my fitness and just coaching. It's just never giving up. And I know that I'm going to be here a year from now, and I hope you will be too.